O was very difficult to spell. I struggled with that one. But he's got a brand new one, which I can spell. It's called Last to Go. To talk about it, please welcome Anthony Callea.
I was going to start off with a bone to pick with you, but you corrected it.
Oh, no, sorry, Callea.
That's right. For 8 years you've been saying Callea. I'm going to call you Yummy.
She is yummy. Now, tell us about Last to Go, because when you party, apparently you're one of the early ones to leave.
Well, no. Maybe I just don't go out as often as I should, but when I do go out, I always try and be the last to go, and that's sort of where this song sort of came from. Obviously, you don't want to be the last to go when the lights come on. So last to go just before the lights come on, because that's tragic. Yeah.
Now, this is a new EP as well as a single. What else is on the EP?
I've got a few acoustic versions of a couple of the tracks on there as well. One that I did late last year here on the Circle, and I got so many good responses from it, so I actually went into the studio and recorded it live. And there's a track on there that I wrote with Paul Mac, I Don't Care What You Say, which, means a lot to me, and lyrically I spent a lot of time working on that, and it was... and I worked with Matt Morris too, that I wrote a beautiful ballad called Tangled. I was walking down the street in LA and I saw the billboard for Tangled, the movie.
Oh, yeah?
And the next day I went into the studio and went, I want to write a song called Tangled. And they just went, why? And I went, because I saw a billboard. But I love that track as well. So basically, I've been working on so much material over the last few years that I just wanted to put a collection of songs together that are really honest and true and that are me. And Last to Go is, the title track off the EP.
Isn't it funny how much time and energy you put into creating a persona, like I think we all do when we're younger, and then you hopefully go through a process where you try and just get back to the truth and back to reality of who you really are. So is that the sort of process you're going through of writing your own songs now?
Yeah, I suppose the last 2 years I have really honed in on the writing and just, walking into a studio and not having any rules and barriers and restrictions and, doing it on my own as well. Like, as an independent artist now, like, there's no A&R team. I'm basically everything. And
but that's what Michelle's saying, though, isn't it, Anthony? Isn't that such a process? Because when you first get the gift of opportunity and the gift of fame and success, you're so afraid to say no to people.
Yeah.
Well, I think you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. I was young and, hopefully over, 8 years you grow and you evolve as a person, not only, in your work environment and what you do musically, but just as a person and the way you think about things. So hopefully I think of things differently in a better way.
That idol experience is a real crucible for young talent. You can survive it or you can get completely smashed up.
Totally, but what you learn off a show like that, especially back in 2004, yes, I have the wrinkles to show for it. Don't make me laugh, don't make me laugh. But, what you learn off a show like that for me was, amazing. And, basically it's what you do with that afterwards, because that's when the hard work starts.
What's the one thing that's highlighted that you've learned?
Go with your gut feeling. Initially you get worked up and you get wrapped in this bubble of everyone's saying what you should and shouldn't do and so forth, and then sometimes you learn just to step back and go, what's my gut telling me to do? And 99% of the time it's right. And at the end of the day, if I make the wrong decision or if I make a mistake, I'm the only person that I can blame for that, and I can live with that. So.
99% of the time it's right, 1% it's gastro. I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned how you performed on the Circle, and you had a dance song, but you performed it acoustically. Now, you see this happen, and just to explain to our audiences, you've got a choice of performing to a tape recording, which looks weird because there's no band, or performing acoustically because that's the only amount of infrastructure and band we can fit into the studio. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you really pulled it off on this occasion.
Well, I think when I get into the studio, I like to write a track, but then basically once we've written it, break it down and go, does it work acoustically? And I think that's the key. Like, that's always a test for me. If I can break it down and it works acoustically, then I think that we've got the backbone of the track there.
So should a song always be able to work acoustically?
No, not always.
Other than your techno and your...
Yeah, but, at the end of the day, if you've got a good pop melody and you've got, the backbone of a track there. It should work acoustically, and it's just what you do with it.
Anthony, you mentioned Paul Mac earlier. I know you also worked with DJ Poet on this album from the Black Eyed Peas. Are you ever daunted when you walk into a room with people like that?
I remember rocking up to Paul Mac's studio going, I can't do this. I can't work with Paul Mac. He's going to go, oh, here's this guy off this TV show, Anthony Callea. But he was so nice, and like as soon as I walked into his studio, he had a big smile on his face, and he was so warm and welcoming. And he was probably one of the best people to work with. Him and Matt Morris, who, you know, if you actually looked at their bio and their CV, you would get so intimidated. But you know, when you're good at what you do, they don't have the crap.
Isn't that funny how oftentimes the people who are so good at what they do are so nice.
And the ones that aren't, they just keep name dropping.
Yeah.
I'll pick that name up for you, put it in your man bag.
Well, I suppose it's not, you know, you don't have to prove anything.
No.
When you know that you're good
You've
at
got
something.
the goods.
Before you go, any more musicals on the horizon? Because I love you on the stage.
Really? Oh, okay. At this point in time, no. Not that sort of stage anyway. This weekend I actually leave for LA, and so I've got a few gigs in LA, and the funny thing is I'm performing
what sort of gigs do you... That's so exciting.
I've got a
What
few
sort of
club
gigs do you do in LA?
In LA. So just off Santa Monica Boulevard, there's a few nightclubs there that I'm doing, taking this new music out there and performing it. And my mum and dad fly in on the Sunday, and I'm performing Sunday night. So my mum's like, I want to come to the club gig. I went, no, you can't. And she's like, I really want to come. And I'm there going, okay, I think I might just have to sit her down and warn her about the club scene.
I reckon as a mum, she'll be fine.
She'll be there with all of it. She'll be taking her top off.
This is Callea. No. Would you please thank Anthony Callea, everyone? Do check out his EP, Last to Go. It's available now on iTunes. You're watching The Circle. We'll see you after this.
It's your Gen's Wild West Spectacular with the baddest bunch of city slickers ever.